Hello there, this is Coach Sammy33, and it looks like we're ready to roll in season 31. But the question, how the hell did we get to Tulane? Do I even know where it is? Yes. And at pick number 9, how did this happen? Let's talk. So, initially, we got to talk to the AD for Nebraska, and it looked like it was a possibility that Nebraska would be signing me to a contract. So going back, just to recap, season 30, it seemed like we're just in a mix of accidents right now. Season 30, going down, you see here, Sammy 33, pick 80. Why is this important? Because ahead of me, pick 63, San Diego State. That was actually the team that I had circled in hopes that I would be able to take them, franchise them, dynasty them, whatever, and take them into the Pac-12 once, I heard the news that they'd be going there. But they are in good hands with Big Z. He's an alum. I'm an alum. Happy to see him do well with them. Cool. No issues whatsoever. It just was one of those things I didn't expect anyone to really take San Diego State until I realized that he was an alum and they probably wouldn't be on the board. So then we go 11-2 at New Mexico and parlay that into the best draft pick I've ever had in the NDL. And we get pick 9. Unfortunately, though, it is not high enough because it's not pick number 3. And because it's not pick number 3, Nebraska goes to MGR. They'll be in good hands too. So then I say, hey, I'll pick my second favorite team. I'll pick Kentucky. But I made the mistake of not talking to the 2 Kentucky fans behind me, because I assumed one of them would want Kentucky, and since they are my second favorite team and not my favorite team, I will pass on them. Neither one of them took Kentucky. Kentucky drops all the way to 22, so you can imagine I was not very happy about that, but that is a lesson learned. If you're going to pass on a team, you need to communicate with the people behind you in the draft. Because had I known that they weren't going to take Kentucky, I would have taken Kentucky. So just the draft night one was depressing. Get neither one of my favorite 2 teams. And then what happens? I'm aware that this is a Florida State fan. So there's a couple other teams that I was looking at in terms of fans. I knew they wouldn't be, like, I didn't want to be the reason why they didn't get their team. Yes, you have to go a few picks down. So I say, you know what? I'm going to take 30 random teams that seem interesting to me that aren't rivals of Nebraska and Kentucky. And I'm just going to put them in a generator, the wheel of names. If you don't know, check out that website. Kind of helps with that. Literally spun the wheel and landed on Tulane. That is why I picked Tulane number 9. Not because they had a good team, not because I liked any of the players, literally because of the wheel spin. No insight on the team whatsoever. That's why Tulane was picked number 9. So that's literally all it was. It wasn't picking a team to compete in the Big Ten with Nebraska. It wasn't picking a team to compete in the SEC with Kentucky. It wasn't a team in the ACC, which is actually a conference that I was looking at joining. But I feel like I would have picked Florida State, and I did want to pick them because of Florida Man University. I wanted to go to another school, might have been North Carolina, but I just said, let's do a wheel spin and whatever happens, happens. I said, season 30 was like a season full of accidents. That's how I ended up at New Mexico. And kind of the same thing with Tulane. Maybe we'll have similar luck. We'll have to see. As a coach, though, looking forward to seeing what happens here. One conference I haven't been in because it's a newer one, the AAC. Overall, I've got 207 wins. I won't be able to hit 200 season wins, but I hope to do it on this year's version of the game. So 15 wins, I'm going to have a winning season to make that happen. Thankfully, I don't have too many losing seasons, so at least going 7-5 would be good. Probably not going to be good enough in the big picture, but hey, we'll see what we can do. Obviously, my longest dynasty is with Nebraska. 6 fun seasons and stressful seasons there. Did have Kentucky for a season, which is hilarious because had I taken Kentucky, I probably would have kept them. So I just don't know what we're going to do now. If we're going to be bouncing around the NDL for the foreseeable future. But we'll see how things look at Tulane. Maybe if things go well, maybe you look at running it back with them. I don't know. But so far on this year's game, a 7-4 season with Western Michigan, 11-2 with New Mexico. We'll see if we can do something similar with these guys. We'll have to in order not to get fired. Looking at the schedule, there'll be a video that'll go into a little more detail, but you can see the season rating, 85 overall, 83 offense, 80 defense. I assume we won't see any more roster adjusting with ratings and updates, so it should be the same. Boise should be a fun one against Genty, Duke, Maryland, and Purdue. So unlike with New Mexico, I do have more talented teams. Nothing against the coaches, but just in terms of team talent, tougher matchups than I had with New Mexico. New Mexico, I just stuck with mid-majors because, I mean, let's be honest, New Mexico is pretty terrible. So I didn't want to play a power team. So got a couple. I know Boise isn't technically a power team, but talent-wise, they technically are a power team. So we'll get to see, and then conference play. I've got some good guys in this conference. I'm kind of sad that I won't get to see some of them in action on a get-go head-to-head. Paxi, I don't know if I played Pat. I'm not sure if I have. Could have been fun. Old KY Shark. 2 Kentucky fans. Hey, at least, yeah. That could have been fun too. I'm not sure. I want to say we played a long time ago. PS2. The SSI, I've never played him before, so I think that could have been cool too. But I'm happy with the guys I'm playing. I do get to play Barkley, and it's a rivalry game, so I know he's one of the better guys in the league, at least reflective off of last season when 11-1. So I'm really excited to play him and see, kind of test my skills up close. See some games have already been played. Some cup games have already been played. We'll get into that action soon. You see this here? Let's look a little more detailed look at this. All right, so the coach contract, a little bit different this season. You have recaps there, but recaps are extra credit, really. Stats, coach reports, and your top 25. Really important to get all of these done because they're going to count a hell of a lot more. Coach reports, really important to get high scores, and that if you do not score high, if you score too low, you can be ruled out of postseason eligibility, meaning the playoffs, meaning a bowl game. Potentially losing out on points. That could hurt a lot. So it's important. It's 40% your grade too, so really important. And then season success, 20 points. So I'm an 85 overall. Assuming I get 40 points here for participation, then you have to look at whatever you get for coach reports. I obviously would love to get 40. Did last season. Hopeful I can manage to scrounge up 5 points here. Where? We'll see. So the win goal, 9.5. My win goal is 10. That's the highest win goal I've ever had in the NDL. That's 8 points right there. Important. Conference goals. Play in the conference championship game, which means by default I have to finish in the top 2. I mean, these go hand in hand. And then Memphis. That's an important game as well. Those are going to be tough goals to accomplish. We got a great group of guys here. I do have a good team. I may get the benefit of my team kind of being on autopilot, some with certain players to help me, but it's still going to be tough regardless. And then you got the season success. Road wins, beating any ranked opponents, and then wins over win goal. Well, this year I won't be getting any bonus points for wins over win goal because I'm not going 11-1 or 12-0. Road wins is a possibility, but we're going to have to find a way. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're just going to have to find a way to get to 10 wins. Don't know where they're coming from. We'll do our best. We'll go ahead and sign the contract, and we are officially coaching Tulane. That said, I think it's probably best to look at the roster and see what we're going to be working with this season.